The inauguration of the Center for Engineering Education Excellence program was recently held at IIT Delhi. CEEE program for engineering teachers was jointly instituted by Indian National Academy of Engineering and Infosys Foundation in collaboration with All India Council for Technical Education and Indian Institutes of Technology. It is a landmark initiative set to transform the landscape of engineering education in the country. The occasion was graced by the bigwigs of the industry and academia.
From last 30-40 years, we have produced engineering graduates to the whole world, not just for India. The numbers are mind-boggling, and we haven't seen any company without a graduate from India today. At the same time, definitely there is a lot to do further. I think this particular program of CEEE, a visionary program, I say, that I believe that will come as a cornerstone in the transformation of engineering education in our country. And this particular program, what we are offering jointly, also will certify all the teachers with a joint certification from AICTE, INAE, and all the 5 IITs. The logos will be on the certification. So this would definitely will take you to the next level and your position as an academic world. India, friends, today is not just a rising economy. We are already 4th largest economy in the world. It is a strong civilizational power. According to the most recent data from the International Monetary Fund, India has officially surpassed Japan to become the 4th largest economy with a GDP of 4.3 trillion. But if you look at any emerging economies, higher education plays an important role. And there, we are still at the rock bottom with 29% of the gross enrollment ratio. Friends, we are actually celebrating the 5th year of the National Education Policy 2020, which is a landmark policy centering around the students. And this is where this kind of programs will become very apt at the right time. So, while implementing the National Education Policy 2020, our focus is on faculty development, and that's where AICTE has put in a lot of effort in preparing the future generation of teachers with experiential learning. And we also included now through the NEP self-learning, collaborative learning, experiential learning to do hands-on experiences, experiments in their colleges. So, what we have seen so far in India in the last few years, maybe 5 to 6 years, a rapid ascent in the startups and entrepreneurial culture of Indian engineering, particularly engineering students. Vibrant and diverse startup ecosystem. We are the 3rd largest startup ecosystem in the world today, with more than 160,000 startups. Wherein that we have clearly the mindset of the students are also changing. So teachers who are here, not only to how to teach the fundamentals, but also you should take up the new world order, like the new generation of technologies which have been now disrupting the whole world, whether it is artificial intelligence, cyber security. That's where I requested the Honorable President and also the past President, immediate past President of INAE, we should teach AI and other related topics to all these teachers as well. So they have kindly accepted to be including that new advanced courses are part of this program, which would be very, I think, welcome step. Thank you very much. Friends, this is where this CEEE program steps in as a transformational model, I say. I want to take a moment to appreciate the Indian National Academy of Engineering and the Infosys Foundation for taking this path-breaking initiative wherein our Tier 3 and Tier 4 institutions have now an opportunity to train the teachers. But after saying that, a lot of our tier 2 and three graduates have done phenomenally well for the nation building. Whether today, the secretary, DRDO is here, you could ask him, majority of his employees, scientists, either in space, ISRO, DRDO, BARC, or even in digital public infrastructure development for our nation, all of them belong to second and third grade engineering colleges, the first degree. Even I would like to go one step ahead and say most of my IIT faculty, if you ask them, where did you graduate? They will start with the master's degree. I did my MTech from IIT Madras, PhD from Harvard, postdoc from Cornell. But I have to repeat the question again to them, saying that where did you graduate? So they don't want to even identify their college where they graduated. So what I would like to tell the teachers today is, friends, please note, many very successful people have come from that bottom colleges. Including many of us who are sitting here. Not many from IITs. So I appeal to the teachers. When you approach these students, be humble. There is a lot of talent in the rural part of India. It's an opportunity, takes them to the top. So I appeal to you, apart from learning fundamentals and applications, you also to give out something very unique to them. So as chairman of AICTE, let me assure that we will be fully committed to this cause of training the teachers for the next generation of students. So over the last few years, AICTE has implemented several reforms in the curriculum, including we brought in a minor degree curriculum in quantum technologies, semiconductors, and space technologies, and defense technologies will be launched within a week's time. And then, very new thing is atomic energy technologies. First time ever they stepped out of BARC and HBNI. They have come to us to create a new model curriculum as a minor degree for BTech students who can take these courses at a very undergraduate level. So let me conclude. India's destiny will be determined not just by its economy, but by its quality of education, and particularly the higher education. We have a big goal as per NEP 2020. By 2035, we want it to be 50% GER. That's a big ask. Let me tell you, in 2001, we were at 11%. 2025, we were at 29%. That means we grew in last 25 years, 18% GER in higher education. But we want to grow in 10 years, 22%. That's a big challenge in front of us. How many universities are required, how many teachers are required, how many colleges are required. There are enough number of students getting into higher education. So this is the time we think we need to transform the way we teach, the way we communicate in the classrooms. Let us commit ourselves to ensure that every engineering classroom in the country is a launch pad for innovation, inclusion, and inspiration. To saying that, I think we need to move into also an entrepreneurial, student culture we need to develop. So together, let's do this engineering fraternity a stronger, a smarter, and a more sustainable India.
We must see what are the problems that we are trying to address. And the two problems that we are trying to address today is, it is impossible, almost impossible to excite young students in the classroom today. They have a variety of different means of information, knowledge, video content. We have to excite them in different ways. That's the first challenge. And this is something which, as educators, all of us are grappling with, and we don't know the answers. We all have partial answers. The second challenge that we have is that the future is changing so drastically, and the nature of jobs and the nature of skill sets needed is something that we all, it's going to completely change, and we need to be able to provide our students to be future ready, where they can adapt, they can provide leadership, they can quickly look at different kinds of. So these are things where we really need to put our heads together. And I think when we talk in terms of, it's not about just the information, it's not just about the content, it's about the way in which we look at a problem, the way in which we can provide solutions, where we can provide as educators a competitive advantage to our industry, to our service organizations, to our society. And I think in doing that, we in the IITs were very happy to respond to this program, because one of the things that we have as a role is that we have to provide leadership of thought in terms of education. And what better way than to interface with the engineering educators to try to provide inputs to them, to learn from our students, our engineering educators and our students, and together to figure out what are the ways in which we can make the challenges where we create the future generations with the skill sets which actually makes India Viksit Bharat.
Right from the day it was founded, 1995 onward, government funded us. Completely 100% of INAE's cost was borne by Government of India. Couple of years back, in keeping with times, the government felt that if we are dependent on government, our independent voice, which is the job that we do for last little more than 4 decades now, that the job of advising on where to position engineering, where to position new technologies, and contribute towards that for shaping the future of nation. If this is the job that we are required to be doing, and I must say also that look at any major committee that the government has put in place, by default, 50% of that committee typically would be the INAE fellows. So that's the level of thinking and positioning which INA brings to the table, and thus the government felt you should be independent. If we are independent, completely autonomous on our own, maybe our ability to think and advise would be of a different kind and different class. And this was a challenge which Professor Manna right at the beginning talked about. And in this journey, we have had some amazing support from major corporates. The second aspect of this positioning was how to get that sustenance. An enormous amount of support came out of major corporates. The Larsen Toubros, the Tatas, the Google Foundation, and 200 of our fellows very generously donated. And these donations have been put into a corpus, and the academy actually runs out of the earnings of those corpus. And that is to say, there's no charge for somebody who comes in, there's no charge for somebody who stays there, and that's essentially where we need somebody who comes on board. And this is essentially where I must say that Professor Manna and Murthy have had multiple discussions on this subject, and once he was convinced that something needs to be done, then he said, Professor Manna, to Manisha and Sri Virmani, and two of them, rather three of them together, created this kind of a model. Now, as we heard, this is historic. This is not done in the country ever, but I must say, in form of various types of contributions that INAE made, there have been multiple programs that INAE and AICTE has been running precisely for past 26 years. And some of them go back to 1999. And I must tell you, the first of it is Distinguished Visiting Professor Scheme, wherein people of eminence are encouraged to go back to the institutions for the purpose of being a distinguished professor. Travel grant schemes for students to go overseas, participate in international conferences and those kind of things. Position India at the same time, do a lot in terms of what it takes to gain for the students international exposure, listen to thinkers all over the world. And that's another of the program which AICTE and INAE has been running. And the next on that has been the Teacher Research Fellowships. So teachers are being provided, not, of course, your colleges pay you salary, but if you want to pursue some very serious research, there's a scheme under which there's a grant which INA used to provide. Post COVID, of course, some of these are right now in some kind of a hibernation, and we are hopeful, like we are doing the CEEE, to position very differently. Some of these schemes gradually, as we become more and more independent, will come back in the form of what we'll provide. INAE as the apex, rather the only engineering body academy in the country, does a lot, not only within the country, internationally. And it did get spoken about the KITS, which is the academy. It's a council of all academies in the world. 34 of them come together every year, discuss and debate in terms of where to position, how to take engineering forward. This year happens to be one of those years. It's going to be conducted in Australia. It keeps rotating between different countries, and in positioning that, INAE has a very, very major role to play. Professor Manna was the chairman of the restructuring of the education, rather the curriculums in engineering. So this is something which what INAE does not only limits to within the country, but going out all across. As part of INAE's major activities, just for the last one more minute, we do major events, and our calendar is normally quite packed. One of the things we do for all kind of engineers, professionals to come together is what we call an engineers conclave. This typically happens in the second quarter of the year, in the financial years. Then, of course, there's a NATFOI, which is a initiative which is to go to colleges and various organizations to bring in the entrepreneurial spirits and take the start sowing those seeds of entrepreneurialism right there. The annual convention, of course, happens end of the year in December, and in between, we are now positioning a technology conclave, which essentially would do a platform again for all kind of members and fellows to come together, debate on some specific themes, and in addition to that, there are many, many, many other activities that keep happening every year. This is an organization, as a result, as I said, is dedicated to the cause of engineering, and of course, towards that, we don't have words to express our gratitude to INAE Foundation, uh, Mr. Narayan Murthy himself, and of course, the entire staff of the foundation to stand behind INAE at this kind of a time, and of course, create this kind of a historic initiative, as I said, unprecedented. And hopefully, this is something that starts making enormous difference, and the difference will be shown in terms of the first batch that you all are attending now. It will show up, and hopefully, it spirals into something far larger to fuel that movement, or the spiraling movement, as we say, towards making India Viksit Bharat.
Before I go any further, let me make an admission. I used ChatGPT 4.0 to create a draft for my speech. However, if there are any mistakes, I own them. One of the important things that happened is, on an average, I take 25 to 30 hours to prepare a speech. In other words, at 8 hours a day, you're looking at 4 to 5 days. But when I used ChatGPT, when I gave it the requisite details, I just needed only 5 hours. Imagine the extraordinary power of technology.
it improved my productivity by a factor of 5 to 6. Anyway, it is a privilege to speak to this distinguished audience today on a subject that has significant importance for our nation's future. That is the importance of quality in engineering, education, and research. I thank you for this opportunity. India stands at a pivotal moment in her developmental journey. We are a young nation, rich in talent and in ambition. But to transform our youthful exuberance into real progress for every Indian, the urban and the rural, the educated and the not so well educated, the rich and the poor, and the elite and the not so elite, we must invest in the quality and not just the quantity of our higher education in general and in engineering education and research in particular. China has done it. I will just quote verbatim what Sri Farid Zakaria, a much respected American current events commentator of Indian origin, said just a few days ago. I quote him. Consider the Nature Index. All of you know what Nature Index is, right? Nature magazine produces this index. Perhaps the most comprehensive guide to high quality research in the sciences. It tracks contribution to the world's leading academic journals. Its newest rankings show what scientists already knew. China is just leaping ahead. Of the top 10 academic institutions in the Nature Index, 9 are Chinese. There's only one American, that is Harvard. My parents and teachers taught me in my early years that I should learn even from those that I differ with. After all, verse 3 in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita also alludes to this value. Organized by our premier educational institutions, by the 5 virginal IITs, this initiative is about learning the best from everybody in the globe to become number 1 in STEM areas in the world. It is not just a training program. It is a national mission. It is a step towards transforming how engineering is taught, learned, used, improved, and lived, particularly in our Tier 2 and Tier 3 institutions. I didn't know there was a Tier 4 institution too, anyway, that serve as the backbone of India's higher education landscape. Therefore, I congratulate the Indian National Academy of Engineering, the IIT, the IITs, and Infosys for partnering in the creation of the Center for Engineering Education Excellence, CEEE program. All of us here owe a note of immense gratitude to Professor Indranil Mana, a visionary, for strategizing and starting this initiative, of course, with help from Infosys Foundation, Manisha Sabu, as she spoke. Engineering forms the foundation for a nation's economic progress in times of both peace and conflict. While science is about unraveling the secrets of nature, engineering is about applying scientific knowledge to make the world around us a better place to live. Engineering is at the heart of improving productivity, building smart cities, better buildings, and better roads. It's about providing better quality of life and facilities to our citizens. It is about producing better equipment for every sector of our nation's economy. It is about achieving climate control. It is about producing sustainable energy systems. It is about conquering space. It is about improving our defense capabilities. And it is about applying digital technologies for our betterment. Engineers invent, innovate, design, and produce the machinery of modern civilization. We must develop and nurture engineers who have curiosity, can think critically, question the status quo, recognize and solve problems we encounter in our daily life. This is the only way India can compete successfully in the global bazaar and improving our prosperity. India's higher education system is one of the largest in the world. Our engineering colleges, located in metropolitan hubs and in rural towns, produce vast numbers of engineering graduates every year. But as we all know, there is huge unemployment among our engineering graduates. This is primarily because our engineering education system just does not produce employable graduates. Not 100%, obviously. It is a large percentage, maybe 40 to 60%. That itself is a huge problem. Many of our tier 2 and tier 3 institutions are filled with dedicated, passionate educators. There are a lot of you here. But they often lack access to modern pedagogy, evolving industry standards, and research ecosystems. The standard of English must be improved in the case of many teachers. We all know that most of the engineering knowledge in the world is in English. The rapidly changing and the latest knowledge in the globally valued books and research papers is in English. Many of our institutions still grapple with outdated curricula, ill-prepared teachers, inability to speak and understand English by the students and teachers. I have come across probably about at least maybe 150,000 people who joined Infosys as trainees. So I have enough data. I'm not speaking just out of my hat. I have enough data, documented, everything is there. Anyway, too often we see a gap between what is taught and what the real world demands. The inequality in exposure and resources between institutions create a gap that affects not just institutions, but students, industries, and India's global competitiveness. This this disconnect, my friends, must be addressed. Quantity without quality leads to unemployment, underemployment, low productivity, and wasted potential. As you all know, research is the soul of any academic ecosystem. Without cutting-edge research, education becomes static. Without application, most research work, leave aside a small blue sky research, but most research work becomes irrelevant. India needs a strong research ecosystem where engineering research is not limited to academic journals but translated into solutions to real-world problems like clean water technologies, clean air technologies, renewable energy, good vaccines. All of you know that we have still not found a vaccine for chikungunya and dengue. Anyway, AI-powered healthcare, agricultural productivity, climate control, resilient infrastructure, and more. Countries that lead in innovation lead the global economy. Let us be very, very clear about it. There's enough data. Your charter, therefore, is to put India amongst them. We are in the era of the fourth industrial revolution, a time of rapid change driven by AI, by IoT, by quantum computing, and biotechnology or genomics. Our engineers must be future ready, equipped not just with technical knowledge, but also with adaptability and lifelong learning habits. Engineering education must evolve to include emerging technologies, sustainability, and social impact. This responsibility does not lie with just governments alone. Governments will fund and prioritize STEM education. However, I humbly request our bureaucrats and politicians to desist from interfering in running higher educational institutions. The industry must support R&D. Institutions must modernize pedagogy. This is a good example. This program is a good example of that. And of course, these wonderful IITs must help the tier 2 and tier 3 institutions through mentorship. Students must approach their education not just as a tool to get a job, but as a mission to solve problems and serve society. Money will always come. My mother always said, go after Saraswati, Lakshmi will follow you. It is said that a mediocre teacher gives a monologue, a good teacher explains, a superior teacher demonstrates, and a great teacher inspires. Unquote. Today, India does not need just good engineers. It needs inspired engineers who are creative, entrepreneurial, ethical, and socially conscious. To produce such engineers, we need inspiring teachers who are not just knowledgeable, but skilled in teaching, able to communicate well in English, exposed to globally acclaimed books, comfortable with research, and connected to real-world applications. You can indeed become transformational agents if you become such inspiring teachers, which is the objective of this program. Through these initiatives, IITs will provide their expertise to uplift institutions across the country by building bridges of knowledge, mentorship, and collaboration. You, the participants, are the carriers of that upliftment that should ripple through classrooms, laboratories, and eventually our society. This program is not just about learning techniques. It is about elevating mindsets. In addition to this impactful program, some of the other useful initiatives that you, the attendees of this program, can pursue to improve the quality of engineering education in India are: one, engineering is about converting scientific ideas into physical reality and to create new and improved physical inventions and innovations like buildings, rockets, electrical vehicles, computers, renewable energy equipment, just to name a few entities. Every one of these, my friends, is a project with thousands of tasks, with some tasks in the critical path. Your reputation as an engineer depends on how good a team member or a team leader you are in completing every project that you take up on time, within budget, and with better than expected quality. Just the other day, Air Chief Marshal said, not one project that was given to the Indian industry by our defense forces was completed on time. Not one. That's what he said. Anyway, therefore, project management is an indispensable skill for your student. Please include project management as a mandatory subject for the students of every branch of engineering in their final year. Please ensure that your students assist the project manager of a project in your own locality and learn this important skill thoroughly. I am a great admirer of and I am very respectful of Kannada, Hindi, English, and every one of the 22 languages recognized by our Constitution as of 2025. However, the reality is that most STEM research work, knowledge, and reporting of the STEM progress in the world, they're all in English. To be successful engineers, your students must interact with engineers from all over the world. Engineers of even the most developed nations from Europe have adopted English as a link language. I spent several years in Paris more than 50 years ago. And let me tell you, English was a language we all spoke in the office, not French. Outside we spoke French. Anyway, it is accepted all over the world that a good command over English is a necessary skill for a successful engineer. Therefore, transform those of your students who are poor communicators in English to those that can hold grammatically correct, heavy accent-free, and unambiguous discussions with the best engineers in the world on global platforms in a universal language like English. To do so, you may want to have at least one course in English in each of the 8 semesters of the undergraduate degree and in each of the 4 semesters of the master's degree in engineering. This will help your students to learn to express their ideas orally and in writing correctly, clearly, concisely, and unambiguously in English. Move your focus from syllabus completion to conceptual understanding. Move away from rote teaching. Relate theory to understanding and solving problems by your students in the towns and cities where your college is located. Adopt open book examinations as much as possible, but at least in the core subjects of engineering. This will enhance independent thinking and problem solving capabilities of a student. The reason is very simple. In life, when your students take up a job, every day they have to use open book examinations. All the information is there and they have to find a solution. What a wonderful thing it will be if you started your students right from first year undergraduate degree with open book examinations. Work with IITs to provide your promising students an opportunity to take at least one course every semester offered in those institutions through a virtual medium like Zoom. Teach your students teamwork by creating opportunities to move from individual classrooms to collaborative networks of students and teachers across the country and, where feasible, across the world. Move from just monologue by you in the classroom to enthusiastic class participation by students. This will help your students to improve their curiosity, their critical and independent thinking, Socratic questioning, and problem solving. You may want to watch the 12 episodes of Professor Michael Sandro teaching philosophy to second-year undergraduate students at Harvard University on YouTube. This will help you appreciate the value of your interaction with your students. At least once a year, create a mechanism to enhance interaction between your students and their cohorts from the top 50 ranked engineering educational institutions in the developed world. The heads of the Tier 2 and Tier 3 engineering colleges must make it mandatory for every teacher in the college to earn some consulting fees every year from the local industry. This will improve the problem-solving mindset of their teachers. If your college can afford, send one teacher every semester from each department to credit a course as a student in a relevant subject at an IIT or at a top 50 globally ranked engineering educational institution. The cost could be reduced by using a virtual medium like Zoom. These teachers must take all the examinations of the course like a real student and must be evaluated by the teacher teaching that course in the host institution that provides the opportunity to your teacher. This will help your teachers understand learning from the perspective of a contemporary student. Make it compulsory for every teacher to obtain a year-long internship once in 5 years, as it happens in the developed world, in a local company of their specialization. This will help your teachers understand a major problem the company is grappling with, contribute to that solution, return to the college, and enhance the problem-solving capabilities of their students. Allocate a semester of the fourth year undergraduate students to identify and solve or improve some function of your own institution. For example, the computer science students may develop some of the information systems needed by your college. The civil engineering students can be given a project to strengthen a weak building or a dilapidated road on the campus. The passing of the students in this course should depend on the acceptance by you of the defense of the idea and the project plan to implement that idea by the student. Finally, remember that no student will become a successful professional unless he or she has competence and, more importantly, values. That's why when I founded Infosys, we adopted the byline, powered by intellect, driven by values. Anyway, values form the cultural foundation without which durable and fast economic growth of our country will not happen. One of the important attributes of a good value system is humility and not boasting about our own minor achievements. Professionals from other countries should praise you, not you yourself. Please demonstrate by your own example the importance of high aspiration, humility, civility, honesty, integrity, decency, courtesy, hard work, transparency, fairness, accountability, sacrifice, excellence, and discipline in your everyday interaction with your students. Friends, this program is more than just a faculty development initiative. It is a nation-building exercise. IITs have set the stage, but the true change will only come when each of you return to your institutions not only with new skills, but with a renewed purpose. Let's remember that education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. May this program ignite that fire in every one of you and through you, in every student, in every classroom, and in every campus in our country. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your profound and inspiring address. Your words will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact and serve as a source of inspiration for all.